It's the most wonderful time of the year, post WrestleMania, and WWE fires everybody to bring in new talent. Is this okay every year?
Yeah, so like you say, it's the wonderful time of the year, but we're not talking about Christmas, ladies and gents. We are on the road to Backlash, and there's been some developments. Let, people are being let go, and people are challenging people they shouldn't be challenging, but they are. So we're
All
on
right.
our way.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We love all sports. We're not just WWE. We love baseball. We love football, all that stuff. And quietly, the other sports, all the minor leaguers come up during spring training, and then all the guys that don't get signed get released or let go. Every year it happens, right? Your favorite football player that's a veteran, he gets let go. It just happens in every sport. I know it's a little bit different in the WWE because it's a little bit more emotional. My favorite wrestler got let go. But you got to understand at the end of the day that it's a business, right? It's the business. And it's always about the business. It sucks because, look, I just lost one of my favorite wrestlers, Kairi Sane. But I understand. There was a point where one of my favorite baseball players got let go. One of my favorite football players just got completely traded. So I get it. But I understand the fans, but it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we get right in like you said, in any sport, that we watch, we have a favorite team, a favorite ball player. Like for instance, I'm going to give a perfect example of last season. What kind of everybody that watched the podcast knows that I'm a huge Met fan, right? And one of my favorite all-time ball players was Pete Alonso, the polar bear. What happened to him? I mean, it was a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. The Mets didn't even offer him a contract. So yeah, I went on a little mini rant, with my friends about it, and all my friends texting me, calling me every day for a straight 5 days. They were calling me, "What do you think, man? What happened?" Blah blah. We get very attached to these athletes, right? And I understand the fan base, the fans, being bent out of shape because one of their favorite wrestlers,
Like Kairi
didn't get
Sane,
signed.
yeah.
Right, and me, I love Aleister Black. And, again, for the second time, he gets let go by the
We're
same
gonna
company.
touch upon Aleister Black real quick. I want to talk about Kairi Sane because she was in the middle of a storyline with the Kabuki Warriors, and they just let her
Right.
go. Asuka had a confrontation with Io Sky last night, and she's like, Asuka had a promo and it said, "You killed my family," and it's kind of true. I mean, she got rid of the one person that she was tagging with or friends with on the show. She did kill her
Yeah.
family. On the side note, completely side note in the news, Io Sky's boyfriend, got signed by WWE the same week. Does it look right that one of her friends got let go and then her husband comes in? It's a little weird, a little fishy, Especially when you got
Yeah.
TKO counting beans, counting money, Little fishy, you know?
Yeah. It all stands back with all of this too. I mean, every after every year after WrestleMania, someone gets let go, a couple of people gets let go, right?
Yeah.
Because it depends. It all hinges on the success of WrestleMania, right? And if folks out there like us saw the attendance record for this WrestleMania, it was extremely low for
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the business side of it, that's what happened. Now in the personal side of it, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And each individual that got let go has his own story.
One of the things that we got to mention, one of the big groups that was let go. You're talking Nikki Cross, you're talking Rowan, you're talking Bo Dallas, and all of them. The whole end of the Wyatt Six. And I said on one of the TikTok shorts, it's like a cover band cannot create new hits. A cover band is a cover band, and that's what the Wyatt Six was. They weren't Bray Wyatt.
The Wyatt Six was a nostalgic act because when we lost
Absolutely.
Bray Wyatt, everybody wanted to see his brother Bo Dallas get a push or get a shot, at the main roster, and WWE, came up with the Wyatt Six, paying homage to Bray Wyatt at the same time. So it became nostalgic. But one thing about a nostalgic act is that it eventually it runs its course, and then at the end, the company does not know what to do with that nostalgic act. And this is what happened to the Wyatt Six.
I think the Wyatt Six all have pretty good reputation in the industry. And I think what everybody's saying online, the IWC and all that, is that the Wyatt Six is probably going to end up over at AEW. And I think they're going to be welcomed there. Good stuff there. They're team players. So good for the Wyatt. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one of my, they got, listen, the Wyatt Six got great athletes, great wrestlers in there. I mean, one of my favorites has been Dexter Lumis.
That's right. Yeah, tell me about this guy.
If you see their matches, this guy is flying all over the place. He is picking up people that he shouldn't be picking up all over the place, all over the ring. I mean, he is such a great athlete and such great shape that I hope he gets a push at AEW or one of the main companies that are left out there.
Yo, worst comes to worst, you put him in a mask, you put him in AAA, you're good to go.
Yeah, and he'll fit perfect. And by the way, he's such a great athlete that he'll fit perfectly at AAA as well.
Yeah. Somebody that didn't take this well was homegirl. We're both from New York. We're both Latinos. Homegirl from Queens, Zelina Vega. Man, talk about a feisty Latina. We said it in the shorts. We're going to say it again. I know I've been dealing with Latina women my whole life. My mom, my aunt, and all that stuff. And once you get them mad, get out of the way. And I just want to set this up real quick. She got mad, supposedly not at the situation, but I understand that elevated her anger. But she got mad at a reporter for reporting the story where she wanted to tell it. She wanted to frame it herself. I think that's a major issue because reporters, people online, all that stuff, they got jobs to do.
Right.
We're not. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. She got mad because it got reported, first, and she wanted to take the narrative of it. And I guess she lashed out at WWE for not letting her have that on her way out. And so she lashed out in her podcast. And, I said it in the shorts a little bit. I mentioned it, that her situation is different than Aleister Black's situation because Zelina Vega got actually pushed by WWE. She got titles under her, with WWE giving her a chance and a good push in her career at WWE. Aleister Black, on the other hand, never got that chance. The first go around and now the second go around. So if anybody has the right to really lash out at WWE, to me, it's Aleister Black.
100% agree with you, but we'll see what happens. One more thing before we move on to the Ric Flair story, I want to at least mention all the people that were released this week. We mentioned Aleister Black, Zelina, the Wyatt Six, Bo Dallas, Kairi Sane, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, Motor City Machine Guns, that's Alex Shelby, Chris Sabine, Apollo Crews, veteran Apollo Crews will let go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We'll see. Hopefully, the Hurt Syndicate or Hurt Locker that's over at AEW, that'd be great for him.
Real quickly, Apollo Crews is really an enigma to me. I mean, he was on a rise. And all of a sudden, he got hurt and never recovered from it.
He became one of those regulars over at the main event show, the plain main event, not even the Saturday night's main event. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Santos Escobar, Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Andre Chase, and Dante Chen. That's a long list of people.
WWE didn't do that well at Mania, with the attendance. So.
What I gotta say about this is that if I pulled up the list of all the baseball players that let go, that'd be a lot longer. All the football players that got let go, it'd be a lot longer. Yeah. It happens. It's sports. I'm sorry.
It's a business, folks.
It is a business. Yeah. I want to move on now. I want to move on to the Ric Flair story, man. Let's talk a little bit about Ric Flair. Ric Flair all over the headlines because was it an interview or something? He mentioned that he was banned from WrestleMania. I think it was starting last year and it ended at this year, so he missed both of them. which makes sense if you're going to ban somebody for a year.
Right.
When I first read the story, and I'm gonna let you talk a little bit right now. We're just chilling, nothing structured.
Yeah.
When I first heard the story, I thought he was banned for life. So I'm glad that's not happening. Let's get that out of the way. Ric Flair is not banned for life. He was banned for a year from WrestleMania specifically. There was a beef with the promos last year's WrestleMania between Charlotte and Tiffany, right? It went a little sideways, right? It went a little sideways. Jose, you want to tell me how sideways it was? They were talking about each other's men or something like that?
It got personal real quick, that one. I mean, it was, let me tell you folks, it was all off script too, by the way. So, Tiffany Stratton started talking about Charlotte Flair's divorces, right? So it got real personal. And then Charlotte Flair fired back at her then boyfriend, Ludwig Kaiser.
That's right.
Talking about Kaiser was on her DM. So it got personal real quick. So
I love it. I love that the Americano is up in here. I love it.
The fake Americano. Okay. Nah, I had to throw that in there, folks. Sorry. Yeah. So it got personal, and so Tiffy, came back, and then Ludwig Kaiser came back, and he threw something. I don't know if it was on. It was definitely on social media. I cannot remember where in social media, folks. I apologize for that, but he said something along the lines that there was no way in hell that you will even touch Charlotte Flair, and took a shot at her wrestling prowess as well. So Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, being the father that he is,
being the Nature Boy,
and acted, the father that he is, and I could relate to that, folks, because I am a proud father of a beautiful girl. Okay, and
we get that, but listen, you are an adult and you're intelligent enough to not act like a baby, not act like this entitled little wrestler that's his gimmick his whole life. The bigger, larger than life thing doesn't work all the time.
And listen, I'm just saying how this, Ric Flair might have been thinking when he started getting at Ludwig Kaiser and called him up. I think first of all, whoever gave him the phone number is foul. You don't do that. You know what I mean? Whoever did that, I'm gonna say it right now. You're foul. That's messed up. You don't do that. True. You don't give away people's phone numbers. So that's another. But I'm gonna say it right now. That's messed up. But anyway, so Ric Flair, went on a rant, and he said, Ludwig Kaiser would never amount to anything in this business. Right? He took a shot at his manhood and whatnot. And so Ludwig Kaiser, instead of handling it like a man, I think, calling back Ric Flair and say, hey, listen, let's work this out or whatever, say what you got to say and then working it out. He decides to go to WWE management and handle it that way. And so now he forced Triple H to act because now you're
I'm going to stop you right there. Because, listen, this isn't Vince's WWE. This is a public company with an HR department, with a finance department, with an executive officer, with a CEO. And guess what? Ludwig actually did the right thing.
I would disagree.
Because
with you.
Look, what did Flair do? Flair, he said he was gonna fight him and all this stuff. It was like, what are we, kids? What are we, kids?
But it's not like he said he's gonna kill him. He's gonna fight him. One thing he was saying. Listen, hold on. If he says if he's threatening his life, like killing him, that's a whole different set of circumstances. I would have agreed with him, but if he's saying I'm gonna fight you, come on, Ludwig.
Does Ric Flair not know to look at the whole picture? You do not go up and deal with all of this drama. You're bringing this drama to Triple H right before the biggest night of their life, which is like the Super Bowl for the WWE. Jose, I want to say one thing. Imagine Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL on Super Bowl night. Imagine he's got freaking Joe Namath in the back going, somebody stole my fur coat and now you have to deal with it. That's impossible. You don't deal with it. You're the CEO. You're dealing with other more important things.
But this is, But this is why Ludwig Kaiser should have handled it differently. Why you gotta go to management, put something on them that you could handle yourself?
So imagine he didn't go to management, and then they did get into a fight, and then something happens to Ric Flair because supposedly this young guy.
I'm saying call him. I'm not saying confront him face to face. I'm saying call him back and have a conversation with him. That's what I'm saying.
I think you and Ric Flair are living in different eras.
Listen, it's not about errors. It's about handling it correctly and not giving management unnecessary BS where you could handle things yourself over the phone. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, it's not like that, because what we're saying here, and at least the way it was put out, was that it's Ric Flair got banned by Triple H from WrestleMania. It was so bad on the news that I thought he was banned for life. So he got banned by Triple H. That's the story that's going. So to me, as a CEO, why are you going to deal with this, man? Why are you going to deal with this?
Exactly. And again, who's the one that went to manage? It wasn't Ric Flair. It was Ludwig Kaiser, man.
But it's the right thing to do. You do not call people and threaten them. Not in 2025 when you're in the middle of a corporate company.
It's threatening them to fight him, man. Like, he's not threatening his life. Again, if he would have been threatening his life, okay, I think 100% agree with you. But he didn't.
That's all great if this was a storyline.
And then you know
what?
But
you're talking real life. If somebody called you in real life, called you right now and says, hey, when you step outside, I'm going to kick your butt. And that's real life. Now you're talking, it gets escalated.
I will, as long as he's not threatening my life with a gun or
you're going to be okay with it.
I'm going to kill you. I would not be okay with it. I will call him back and have that conversation with him and see where it goes. That's what I would have done. And again, and it goes back to now I'm going to talk about now. So now I go and do my due diligence like I always do. And I go to the Ric Flair's IG account, and guess what I see now? Ric Flair apologizing to Ludwig Kaiser, giving him his flowers. He's a great athlete. He's going to go somewhere in this business. Listen, people get, and this is a legit, and I read it word for word. Ric Flair is legitimately apologizing to Ludwig Kaiser. This is what I tell you. Things could have been handled one-on-one and leave management to deal with WrestleMania the way they're supposed to be dealing with. That's what I'm saying to you. Now, again, if he would have threatened his life, that's a whole nother ballgame. That's a whole nother ballgame.
So you got a 70-year-old man that should be mature enough, and now he's apologizing after the fact for the stupidity that he did.
But this is what I'm saying. He could have done that right away on the phone with him. If Ludwig Kaiser would have handled it differently. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Or Ric Flair could have called his daughter and say, hey, listen, do we need to take care of this? And that had that conversation before he escalated it.
Listen, but you don't understand, because you're like, when you're a father of a girl, right? Of a woman, you're a father of a girl. They're always going to be your little girl, and you're always going to have that instinct of a father to protect your little girl.
So you call your daughter, you say, hey, listen, are you okay? Do you want me to handle it?
But when you're in that emotional state that, hey, you're talking about my little girl now, you're gonna act.
You said it right there. You said it right there. Why is this 70-year-old, 80-year-old man in a high emotional state? He should not be. He should be mature enough to look at the situation and go, this doesn't deserve violence.
It doesn't matter how old you are, man. If you're a father of a girl, you're gonna act that way, man. No matter how old you are.
I get that, but there's maturity involved.
Yeah, listen, it's got nothing to do with maturity. It's protection. It's that kind of feeling that you have as a father towards your little girl. It's got nothing to do with maturity. Nothing.
When he wants to be looked upon as this legend, as this thing in the industry, you have to act that way.
Listen, this is not going to take away from his shine about being a legend. All right, let's just get that out of the way. So don't even go there.
All right,
he's the nature boy Ric Flair.
I don't think we're going to get anywhere, because we're on both sides of this. And what we're going to do this week.
I tell you what, folks, real quick, folks, I want you guys to let us know what you guys think on our comment about this situation. I'm very curious to hear about you guys, for what you guys think.
Here's what I'm going to do for you, Jose. on our website, I want you to write an editorial, and I'm going to write an editorial. We both put it up, and we'll see if the fans react to that. Because I know you have a lot of things to say about this, and so do I. So we'll put articles on there. We'll see what we'll figure it out there.
We'll do that, but we also, like I said, folks, we want to hear you guys in your comments.
Yes, of
what
course.
You guys think
yes,
about this.
Please.
Yes, I want to hear. I'm very curious of what you folks got to say about this situation. Please.
We now have to move on to the Bloodline Drama, please. Well, let's talk about what's going on with Roman. We always like to see Roman come back. I know he's a part-timer. Who cares? We have him probably from now till the end of WrestlePalooza, most likely. So the storyline is Jacob Fatu, his cousin. You're my cousin. You're my cousin. Yep. Don't you ever do this, because I will smack you in the face.
You're my older cousin. I respect you. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And Jacob Fatu doesn't have respect for his older cousin. He comes up to him and says, he's not even that I want it. He says, I need your title. I need your house. I need my God. I need a better school for my kids.
You want to talk about someone that's unhinged? If that guy's unhinged, the Samoan werewolf. You know,
but,
and I get it. Listen,
it's a storyline.
I get Jacob Fatu, right? We all want to improve our situation for our families, for ourselves. You know, we all get it. But at the same time, you got to know who you're stepping up to here. You know, you're not stepping up to Pepsi Phil or, you know, Seth Rollins, or you're stepping up to the tribal chief, the only one, the one. And he's not ready to give up his throne for anybody. So now, like the tribal chief said, he asked him, said, let's see it from the other side of the coin now. He goes, how about if you can't beat me? You cannot beat me, and I beat you. Are you ready? Are you ready to acknowledge me?
I love it. I love it all.
That's gonna be the curious thing for me afterwards.
I love it because, but we gotta what I'm separating this, also a family issue, from the last story, is that this is a storyline, and you know it's a storyline. You know, at the end of the day, Jacob Fatu is eating dinner with Roman probably after the show, you know, and they're chilling, and this is a storyline. Ain't no real cousin coming up to him challenging him that way, you know. So that's the difference. Now, I love this. I love this because I have my cousin.
Those Samoans are very, very emotional, man. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
don't you mess dinner right now.
Don't you mess with Haiku. He will kick your butt, man. But I love it, and I know that the storyline is going to be weird. My key on this one is watch what the Usos do. They're staring at Roman. They're staring at Jacob Fatu a lot, and they're kind of agreeing or titter-tattering between the two. We'll see what happens with the storyline.
That's too much of a reach, and we talked about this off air. That's too much of a reach. The Usos are loyal to the OTC. I think it's going to remain that way. The curious thing for me is what Jacob Fatu is going to do after the match. That's what I'm curious about.
All right.
And again, good for Jacob Fatu to step up too. I have no problem with that, because to me, I've always loved Jacob Fatu, even when Solo Sikoa brought him into the fold, and I saw that big man flying all over the ring. You know, I fell in love with Jacob and his aggression. So good for Jacob.
100% on Jacob and his excitement. In fact, if you listened last week, we were having a little fantasy football draft, and Jacob Fatu was my number one pick. Jacob Fatu, and I said it last year when we started the podcast during WrestleMania weekend, the most exciting guy on the roster for me specifically. I don't know about others, but for me, Jacob Fatu is awesome. I love the storyline. I love that you love Roman, the older cousin, and I love Jacob Fatu, the younger cousin, which is a weird thing because we're taking the other side. Yeah, exactly. But I love it.
Listen. I just love greatness. That's all. It's you know, there's nothing else to say about the OTC except greatness.
I love this too. I usually love greatness, but in this storyline specifically, I love the chaos that this dude is bringing, man. Bringing it to the table, the chaos.
Really, you said it perfectly, cuz I love that chaos that he brings into the ring. I love it. He took out the MFA by himself.
He did. That was awesome with the chairs. That was great. What is the Usos? What are they doing in this whole thing? What do you think is gonna? because I mentioned it and you said I'm reaching. So I want to know your side of it. What do the Usos do in this situation?
I think at some point the Usos are going to regain the tag team titles. I don't know which one, but eventually they're gonna regain those titles, and they're gonna strap with gold, and then they're gonna be like a better version to me of the Bloodline than it was before, because now Roman doesn't see them as servants. Roman sees them as equals, and they treat them like family now. So I think it's gonna be so much better this go around. I think.
Jose, you know what I like about what I'm seeing from the Usos? That this isn't the same Usos from a year ago. Now, when you see them on the screen with Roman, I see Jay differently. I see them like this past year, they really elevated their stardom. And now when I see them, they're not equal, but they're right there next to Roman. They're no longer the push arounds that they were. Yeah. Right?
I think in particularly, I think Jacob Fatu's stock is, it rose in a year like you wouldn't believe. His stock has risen.
I think what you're missing is, or what I was trying to say is that when you see Jey Uso sitting next to Roman, you're now seeing World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso, the guy that did it on his own Jey Uso, the guy that LA Knight says, hey, what are you doing going back to that, because he's bigger, better, and badder than he ever was,
Well, now Roman Reigns has a lot of respect for his cousins now, because again, like you said, in a year they have brought the game up. Especially, he thinks a lot of Jey Uso. He thinks of Jey Uso as his replacement once he gets done with the business. That's how he sees him. So, it's going to be very interesting this time go around with the Bloodline.
I'm so interested in doing a long podcast about the whole Bloodline, because what you just mentioned right now, I didn't even think about. What's next for the Bloodline? Is it Jacob Fatu and Solo that they're gonna once Roman goes away? I'm curious what happens to their family. Are they ever gonna bring in Zilla?
And quickly, did you hear what Jacob said when he said, you talking about, looking after me, you didn't return my calls when I needed you, the one that brought me in was Solo, and then the tribal chief interrupted and said, he goes, Solo? He goes, who you think signed off on this deal for you to come back? That was very interesting. That's was awesome. Him, the tribal chief.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So that's something, to think.
Let's end the show. I know for the past couple shows, it was WrestleMania weekend. We didn't have time to talk about birthdays and all that stuff. And it's a good way that I like to end the show, always talking about birthdays and about little things that are happening that don't deserve a whole segment. This week's birthday, we got a little bit of the old, a little bit of the Attitude Era, and we got a little bit of the new future. We got the Big Boss Man, who I just saw this week because I rewatched WrestleMania 5. Big Boss Man fought Hakeem in WrestleMania 5. Yeah. We got Joe Henry. Do you believe?
Yeah. Hey, say his name is going to appear.
I think right now when you say somebody's name, it's Danhausen. He's going to appear.
I love our boy. What can I say?
And then you got the final boss, The Rock, his birthday too. All of them May 1st and May 2nd. So really big birthday weekend. There's others that I didn't mention. You can go check out online for the other wrestlers that are also birthdays. But I wanted to talk about these three guys in particular. Jose, start with the Big Boss Man, because I know you're a big fan of him.
Man, I'm a huge fan of the Boss Man, right? And it's not because I'm into law enforcement, It's even as a kid. Right. Even as a kid, I love to see him. It was something about seeing him with his uniform and his nightstick flinging it around. I can't even do that, folks, by the way. That's insane stuff. So, having him come to the ring and beat the crap out of these wrestlers with the nightstick and stuff. It was something that the Big Boss Man, that aura that he had, that law and order. And, for a big man, talking about a big man, he was so agile that it was amazing to see. I'm
going to ask you a trivia question. The character, the Big Boss Man, he was a correctional facilities officer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Where?
In, I believe it was in Tennessee, I think it was.
Oh, so close. It was Georgia.
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 Yes.
He was a facilities officer in Georgia. Can you imagine the South? And he's in their jail with his nightstick.
He's going like this with the nightstick, you know. and by the way, his promos were so phenomenal. I mean, they were awesome. You know, every time he cut a promo and he would point with the nightstick, you know, and it was so intense. It was great. I loved it.
The promo he had at WrestleMania 5 that I had just watched, he says, I might be poor, but I got a lot of pride. And Southern pride, bro. Southern pride in this day and age.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit.
Great wrestler.
Let's talk a little bit about Joe Henry, his birthday, happy birthday. I was in a TikTok live last night watching Raw, and somebody mentioned Joe Henry, and they said Joe Henry has a limit on how high he can do because the character may not fit as a champion. They're saying that the most he will ever probably do, Joe Henry, the character, not Joe Henry, the athlete, but the character, is probably get as high as LA Knight did. So now you got LA Knight and Joe Henry, and I can see the similarities, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think of that idea that I heard it last night?
Well, Joe Henry has had titles, you know, the NXT title he had now.
TNA title, I think.
TNA title. You know, I think the European title too he held at one point.
Oh, yeah, he was over there.
So unlike LA Knight, he's had multiple title runs. LA Knight just had the US title, right? The US title run, pretty much. And then that was it. I think in the long run, LA Knight's going to surpass him. I think LA Knight's going to have at least an IC title run in him. I don't know beyond that, though.
It's a weird comparison because, I see them kind of similar. Mm-hmm. They're both, the fans love them, you know? Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, real quickly, this is my birthday weekend, too. This is my birthday weekend, too.
It's our birthday month. It's our birthday month.
That's
because
right,
it's my birthday this month, too. So, you know, we share the birthday with good classic wrestlers here. I got to mention The Rock. The Rock. I was not watching wrestling at the time, but it was always around. I was in the military at the time, and it was always on TV, you know?
Oh, that was when The Rock with his you know, catchphrases and, you know, his intensity and his charisma, you know, won over the WWE universe. What can you say about you know, The Rock, a living legend? He's done everything in the business. The first true tribal chief, really. There's nothing much to say about him except greatness. Again, the word greatness, right? It should be attached to The Rock because, like I said, he was in that era where WWE was about to go out of business, folks.
That's right.
Real close. And The Rock, D-Generation X, Stone Cold Steve Austin saved WWE. So The Rock to me is very special. The final boss, I like that character. I wish he would have kept it going a little longer, but I understand the man is a businessman now, not a wrestler. So you got to understand that. So, you know, I mean, kudos to The Rock, you know, greatness personified.
I wanted to see more of the final boss too. I wanted the final boss character to play the role in WWE like the Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon character.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been a great addition. It would have fit perfectly with The Rock. I think in the future he could still do it, you know, because he could do that into, you know, his 80s, something like that, just like Vince did, you know.
I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back eventually. Just right now, he's a busy man, always.
And not just that he's a busy man right now. The fans aren't behind The Rock. I'll be honest with you. They don't want to hear about The Rock.
They still mad at him right now for not giving us enough final boss. So they still mad.
Not that that he wasn't given enough final boss. I think what the role that he played with the whole Cena retirement kind of tainted what people felt for him. So they are done with him for now. But you're right. If he comes back in about 5 years or 3 years, maybe.
But it ties up to that. Not enough giving us enough final boss. It ties up to all of that. When I said that,
he didn't finish the story. That's pretty much it. You know. But I personally do want to see the final boss character. I think
Me
there's a
too.
lot there. I think, like I said, he'd be a good he'd be a good a character, like the Mr. McMahon character. You know,
Yeah.
he could do so much with the people's title. You know,
Yeah.
could you imagine? And now I'm just like fantasy booking, but could you imagine like LA Knight becoming the people's champion? I mean,
For the folks out there, the people the like it went over them right now with the people's title. It was the belt, the people's belt was bestowed upon him by Jackie Robinson's wife. So that's how he got that title, and he used to carry it when he used to cut the promos and coming in as the final boss. He always used to carry it over his shoulder. It's a very beautiful belt, by the way. So
it is a beautiful belt,
that's how it started.
and I think for a while in the '90s he had the corporate title when McMahon made that up, and then he had the people's title and all that stuff. So I can see something like that happening with LA Knight if he could take him under his wing and just like make him into the next Rock almost. You know, that'd be kind of cool to see. Maybe I'm just fantasizing booking on this, but I would like to see that angle a little bit.
But by the way, that feud that he had with Cody Rhodes and whipping him with the belt and, you know, putting his blood in the belt, talking to Mama Rose, you know, that's The Rock, you know, that's The Rock.
Yeah, and he was on TV. He didn't care. He was cursing. He was singing. Everybody was loving the bad guy until that whole John Cena moment with Travis Scott and all that stuff. And he just got ruined.
again, The Rock has to be synonymous with the word greatness. Greatness personified.